El arzobispado salió a dar este comunicado porque al fin y al cabo, digamos, es una pareja trans.
Sí, anunciando medidas disciplinarias contra el...
No sé si es contra el... Tampoco eso lo expresa el comunicado.
Pero que van a anularle el casamiento.
Y pueden llegar a probablemente a anularle, qué sé yo, no sé, o las medidas son contra el sacerdote. Eso no tengo claro, estoy tratando de averiguarlo. Lo que sí te digo, digamos, o sea...
¿Alguno se casó acá? ¿Cuál es la documentación que dice que te pidan?
¿Qué es lo que defiende la Iglesia, digamos? El matrimonio como tal y la familia como tal, como seno de, o sea, el hombre, mujer, María, José, Jesús, digamos, ¿no? Ese triduo que da origen a la familia, digamos. No el otorgamiento del sacramento. Es uno de los 7 sacramentos que establece la Iglesia. No es joda, digamos, o sea, la cuestión de casarse por iglesia, digamos.
Pastoral accompaniment in Argentina. Diabolical inversion. Male bride and female groom celebrate transgender wedding in Catholic Church. The following story is from our You Can't Make This Stuff Up department. In Argentina, a Novus Ordo priest has celebrated the wedding of a so-called transgender couple, a man who considers himself a woman and a woman who considers herself a man. Since the union is between a male and a female, regardless of personal delusions, the Catholic priest saw no reason why these two mentally deranged people couldn't enter a sacramental marriage. Here are some English-language news links covering this absurd story. The Infernal Clown Show took place on January 28, 2026, at the Parish Church of Our Lady of Pompeii, in the Archdiocese of Corrientes in northwestern Argentina. The parish presbyter who conducted the ceremony is a Capuchin friar, the Reverend Fernando Luis Gomez. The head honcho in the diocese is Archbishop José Adolfo Larraguén, appointed by Pope Francis. The couple consists of Solange Ayala, a man who publicly identifies as a woman, and Isaias, a woman who presents herself as a man. Both have publicly shared their gender identity and their involvement in LGBT activism, Info Vaticana reports. Novus Ordo Watch has been able to find out that the full name of Isaias is Isaias Diaz Nunez, based on this story from 2023. A video clip of Ayala being walked into the church on January 28th by what appears to be his visibly uncomfortable father, Esteban Ayala, and then being joined by his girlfriend playing Groom, can be found on Instagram here. But it gets worse. The priest acted after consultation with the Archbishop of Corrientes, José Adolfo Larraguén, who concluded that, on the basis of the couple's biological sex, the essential requirements for a valid Catholic marriage were met, according to the Catholic Herald. Not surprisingly, Ayala was delighted to share his story with the public in an interview with Radio Sudamericana a few days ago. According to an interview given by Ayala to Radio Sudamericana on February 6th, the couple completed what was described as a standard Catholic marriage preparation process prior to the ceremony. Ayala said that the priest was fully aware of their situation from the outset and treated them with respect throughout. He added that their baptismal certificates were submitted under their legal names, but that the marriage register recorded the names by which they are publicly known. The ceremony itself was celebrated using those same names. In other words, during the ceremony, the male was treated as if he were the bride, and the female as if she were the bridegroom. What an insane mockery of holy matrimony, right in front of what is supposed to be God's holy altar. The parish, for its part, has gone on record with the following statement from the Parish of Our Lady of Pompeii. In response to inquiries and public reports regarding a recent matrimonial celebration in our community, the Parish of Our Lady of Pompeii, which acted in accordance with pastoral guidance and the ecclesiastical norms of the ordinary, considers it necessary to clarify the following. The Church teaches that Christian marriage, as a sacrament, requires essential canonical conditions for validity and licitness. It is not merely a ceremony or a matter of documentation. It requires that the parties be capable of marrying, that there be no canonical impediment, and, most importantly, that they give true consent. That is, that they genuinely intend to enter into marriage as the Church understands it, with integrity and good faith. Out of respect for the privacy of the individuals involved, no further details will be provided, nor will speculation be encouraged. We reaffirm our commitment to authentic pastoral care, always united with the truth of the sacrament. Additionally, we will strengthen the procedures for interviews, preparation, and verification to safeguard the sanctity of the sacraments and to prevent confusion within the community. Parish of Our Lady of Pompeii, Reverend Father Fernando Luis Gomez, Pastor. The Archdiocese, on the other hand, published the following statement. In light of the recent celebration of a publicly known matrimonial rite, the Archdiocese of Corrientes wishes to share the following clarifications. The Church, as a mother and teacher, takes special care in the celebration of the sacraments. In particular, she reminds us that Christian marriage, as a sacrament, requires the fulfillment of certain essential conditions for its validity and licitness, as established by canon law and the living tradition of the Church. The omission of these conditions not only distorts the profound meaning of the sacrament, but can also create confusion within the community of the faithful. Therefore, the Archbishop of Corrientes, after conducting consultations, proceeds in accordance with what is stipulated by canon law, acting on his own initiative with the appropriate warnings and formal disciplinary canonical measures that may apply. It is important to note that, at this time, the Archdiocesan Office has not received the ecclesiastical documentation required to address these cases in accordance with the necessary formalities. We reaffirm our commitment to a church that welcomes, accompanies, and walks alongside individuals, always remaining faithful to the gospel, the doctrine of the Church, and the legal framework that ensures the correct and fruitful celebration of the sacraments. It is anyone's guess what the ultimate outcome of this mess will be, and there's a good chance the Vatican will get involved. Meanwhile, considering that, as we just heard, the two parties genuinely intended to enter into a marriage as the Church understands it, all we need to do now is wait for the husband to announce his first pregnancy. Laugh or cry, friends, laugh or cry. Jorge Bergoglio, who played Pope Francis for over 12 years and wanted a mess in dioceses, would probably be thrilled to see this happen, in his own native Argentina, no less. After all, we recall that although he sometimes spoke against the transgender ideology in theory, he was very supportive and enabling of it in practice, as these links show. For a reality check, here's what Father Gabriel Amorth noted about diabolical obsession, not possession, in one of his books. Diabolical obsessions are disturbances or extremely strong hallucinations that the demon imposes, often invincibly, on the mind of the victim. In these cases, the person is no longer master of his own thoughts. Rather, he is subjected to a powerful force that creates mental activity in him that is repetitive, obsessive, and irresistible. Such representations of reality, even if foreign to his manner of thinking, become profoundly fixed in his psyche. The objects of these hallucinations can be manifested as visions, as voices, or as rustlings. They can also appear as monstrous figures, horrifying animals, or devils. In other cases, it can be an impulse to commit suicide or to do evil to others, and particularly in the young, it can lead to confusion about one's gender. The history of cases is so vast that it is impossible to enumerate all the forms of diabolical obsession. There can be no doubt that the devil is hard at work in our time, perhaps because he knows he doesn't have much time left. All this brings back unhappy memories of Bishop John Stow's female transgender hermit, and of then Bishop Raymond Burke's transgender nun. It shouldn't be long now before we hear of a case where a person who was thought to be a Novus Ordo priest is found to be actually a woman identifying as a man. While people can play make-believe for a while and even succeed in having many others join in, either through deception or intimidation, the truth remains the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. Ultimately, essence is prior to existence, and fantasy must yield to reality. No, men cannot be brides, and women cannot be grooms. Husbands cannot be wives, and wives cannot be husbands. And it doesn't matter how anyone feels about that.